We have an incredible video in store today because we took this car to the track for the first time ever. This is a 992 GT3 RS. I've had it for about 6 weeks now, and we took it to the track about a week ago today. So I'm filming this now as somewhat of an intro to that, to kind of add some context into what my mindset was going into the track day. I have an entirely new perspective on this car, and wow. My goal when purchasing this car was to enjoy it, to drive it, to take it to the track, and we finally have our first track day under our belt. I'm a beginner at track days and driving cars on track. I have about 4 or 5 track days under my belt ever, like in my entire life. And this is the first one that I'm driving my own car. So I really went into this day with the goal, first and foremost of being safe, having fun and just kind of understanding what the car is capable of. So NCM is the track that we went to, National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is a very technical track. There's a couple really high-speed corners there that can really bite you if you don't do them properly. Turn 5 and then turn 16 especially, and then deception can be a little tricky too. My goal was to really just kind of get a comfort level with the car and kind of increase my comfort level with the track to hopefully by the end of the track day be pushing and maybe set a time that I can use as a starting point to try to improve on from there. It's November right now, November 2024 when I'm filming this, and so we're kind of at the end of our good weather season, so this is really the last time I'll have the opportunity to track the car, probably for a few months. So I'm really glad that I got to do it. I'm filming on the GoPro now that I filmed on at the track day, and the exposure is a little bit off. You can see everything in the car very well, but you can't really see the track super great. So I'll include just one lap there from the track, and I got some paddock footage. We got to park there right in the paddock, which is a lot of fun. And then I'll come back here. I'll talk about kind of what my take is on the car. I set a time, and so I'll talk about what the time is that I set, and then we'll just add a little bit more context kind of in conclusion of what my experience on the track for the first time in this 992 GT3 RS was like.
Good morning, y'all. Today is an incredible day. We are taking the new 992 GT3 RS to NCM and do what this car's stated purpose is, which is to drive it to the track, rip laps all day, and drive it back. So we've got about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive or so. Yeah, and it's like 5 a.m., so this thing is straight piped, so I'm sorry, neighbors, in advance if you ever watch this.
What's up, y'all? Just finished like 4 sessions. So yeah, enough talking. We're at the track. Let's get to driving. So there was the lap. I was able to put down a time of 2:18 flat with a optimal of 2:17.5. So that was pretty much on one lap. I think I had one, my sector one was a little bit quicker on one of those turns, which is turn 5. It's either turn 5 or turn 6, I think, into NCM. That's after that straight. And then it's a brake, and then you let off the brake and then turn the car in, and it's easily like a 100-mile-an-hour turn if you do it right. After looking at the data that I took on the race box, it said that the lowest speed that I had going into that turn was 87. And I've talked to a few folks that have driven GT3s and GT3 RSs around that track who've said that you can easily do 95 in, like, say, a 991 GT3 or GT3 RS. So this car is probably capable of closer to 100 miles an hour with all the downforce that this thing generates. So I think there's a lot of time to be had on that specific turn, turn 5, and then also turn 16. Which is after Deception. It's another really high-speed corner where it's very similar to turn 5 in that it's very high speed. You brake pretty similarly, and it's, you know, a very fast corner. I think both of those turns, I'll just need to build my confidence level to understand kind of, you know, how fast this car can go through it, and at the same time how fast I'm willing to go through it, because those, you know, might be two different things. Just a couple quick notes too on how the car is set up. I know that this thing has a ton of adjustability in it. I left everything, all the nanny modes on, but in track mode. So in track mode on this car, it defaults to ESC or ESC in dynamic mode. Given that it was my first day, I just bumped it back to ESC on. I think I was running traction control at 4. And then all of the PASM, the PTV, were both at just the default 0 settings that the car comes standard with. After doing some thinking after the track day, I think one of the areas that the car could benefit from a little bit of tweaking is the torque vectoring. There's a setting where you can, like, adjust the Porsche torque vectoring, right? So you can adjust the diff lock on coast and power. And I think that adjusting the power to maybe +1 or +2 might really help the car point a little bit better through those final S's before the straightaway. Because it'll, you know, you can carry maybe a little bit more speed if on power the lock is, you know, allowing the car to turn more. So, you know, again, I'm just getting to the, you know, I'm just scratching the surface on what these settings are capable of. But going into the next track day, given that I have one under my belt with this car, I'll probably try to fine tune that a little bit more, adjust the Porsche torque vectoring to maybe +2 to see kind of just +2 or 3 to see kind of how that feels, and then maybe dial it back if it feels like it's a little bit too much. So between that, having new tires on the car, a little bit better understanding of the track and the car, and then maybe dialing the settings, you know, maybe a realistic target for the next track day will be like a 215, right? You know, I did a 218 with a 217.5 optimal, and so, you know, just baby steps. Again, I'm going to keep this mentality of trying to be safe, you know, first and foremost, and have fun, but just improve, right? And that's the thing about this hobby. It's like golf. It really is. You know, it's you know, a self-improvement journey that you can go on with these cars. It is difficult to drive these cars well, and to drive them the way they're meant to be driven on the track is not easy. You know, and that's true in the simulator too, where, you know, driving on the simulator is very difficult. You know, iRacing is tough, and you know, so in that sense, I think it's going to be a fun, you know, personal challenge to see, you know, to reach my capabilities with this car. Because again, it's not a car that I'm going to find the limits of. It's probably going to be a car that always finds the limits of me, find my limits. So just try to push those, right? Just try to push what my limits are gradually, slowly, and just get to the point where we're maybe doing like, you know, closer to 210s one day. Who knows? Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have a whole new perspective on this thing. Driving it on the street is fun, and you know, it's a fun car to get out on the weekends and stuff. But when you get this thing on the track, and you really see, you know, how hard this thing brakes, you know, what the G-forces are like when you're, you know, kind of at the tire's limits, which is I was able to feel at some of the lower speed turns. It's just unbelievable. So I'm taking a little bit of what I've learned in the sim racing realm and kind of applied that to this car on the track. And it's been so much fun. So like the trail braking, the steering lock feel, all of those skills that, you know, the simulator can really teach you and can help you improve on. I was kind of applying those here to the real life track day, and it was so much fun. I am so hooked. If you ever have the opportunity to take your car on track, I would encourage you to do it. It is an absolute blast. You will not regret it. So yeah, that's it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. It was an incredible day. If you're into sim racing, or if you're into cars or into GT3 RSs, hit that subscribe button.